Okay, good. So today we will do the practical, and because of the network issues, I wasn't able to connect with the Amazon server, but right now I have the console and each and everything running. So, okay, all of you open up your Amazon, and if you like, you can follow the steps side by side, and if you like, you can write them down. And after when I complete setting up the instance, you can do it for yourself. So today we will configuring the Windows instance. Okay. Now we will go to the Amazon Web Services, their home page. Now Amazon is this website is very useful. It is giving us very a lot of resources, and if you want to check out the services and other things, we will explore this website thoroughly. But for now, let's just see how to configure a EC2 instance. Once we are logged in into our console, we will select the we will choose the compute service, which is EC2. Now we are inside the EC2 service, and it is showing us a lot of options. From the left hand side, you can see there are a lot of options present: instance, instance type, launch instance template, spot request, saving plans, reserved instance, dedicated host. So we will look each and every topic, but first let's see how we can configure our instance. So in the dashboard, you can see there is lots of detail. Instance running, it is showing that there is one instance which is in running state. Let's see which one. Okay, so first what we have to do, from the left hand side corner, we have to select the instance. We will go into the tab of instance, and there are the options. Each every one of you, is my screen visible? Can you see the current dashboard? Over here in on the right hand side top corner, you will see this option, launch instance. You can click this one from here, and it will lead you to the another page. And on this page, we will allot the processor, the OS, and other hardware component to our virtual machine. So we will be selecting the OS, we will be selecting how much storage we want to give our instance, and we will be configuring list that will allow the communication and other configuration. So once this first, let's give our instance a name. So we will be creating a Windows instance. So let's name it Window 10. So from here, we will select the OS image. It's still loading. We have different images, Linux, Ubuntu, and Windows, Window base server. So yes, guys, my screen got disconnected. Make me host, please. Uh-huh. Yes, we lost connection, but now it's fine. Let's see. Okay, so we have named our instance Window 10, and we will select the OS image. So let's go with the Windows, Microsoft Windows Server 2022 base. This one is free tier eligible. From here, you can check there are other services, other server also, and other OSs which are free tier eligible. And from this list, all of the free tier eligible, you can select those, and it will not cost you anything. So let's move on to the other instance type. So we have studied different instance type. For general purpose, we will use T2 micro. This is also free tier eligible. We can compare different type of instances from this tab. In this tab, you can see if what kind of performance we want. Over here, it is showing low to moderate network performance, low to moderate, up to 5 gigabit if we want network performance up to 5 gigabit, then we will go with the T3 Nano. So according to their performance, there are different type of instance, and according to our need, we can select from these this list. We have selected Windows OS, and then our instance type is T2 micro. Now key pair, it is another key pair, it is another okay, free one we have, you can the I have shown you. And T2 micro, for now T2 micro is the free tier eligible only, and there are other instance types also, but they are per on cost. They are not free. They are not available in this free version. Now we will generate a key, and in this process, first we will give a name to our key. Let's say I am giving this a security. This is a security key, so I'm giving it a name. Then I will create this key. After the process of key creation, it will be stored in our download section. So you can see the sec.m key is now, the security key is now in my download section. So when I will be accessing this EC2 instance from a desktop remote application, then I have to provide this key to make sure that I get the access. Otherwise, I will not get the access to do the RDP, remote desktop protocol. Okay, for now, let it be the default. We will study the different security groups and how we can create the security. Okay, one other thing that you must know is assigning the zone. So when we are assigning the zone, and while creating the instance, it will take the default, but we have different subnet which are available to us. So these are the availability zones. So okay, later on we will see what is the preference to select the availability zone, but for now I am selecting why it is important to select the right availability zone. Uh, right now, let's select the last one. So the rule which we have allowed is RDP rule, remote desktop protocol from anywhere. So this rule is allowed. That means we are able to access the instance remote from anywhere. Now we are configuring storage 30 GB. The one volume we have created is for the 30 GB for general processing. Okay, advanced details, we will check them out. Okay, for now we don't have to see them. We will check them out in later session. So let's click on launch instance and okay. So over here it is showing that we are not able to create the instance because this selected instance type is not supported in the zone South 1C. So the zone I have selected, the this instance will not work in it. So we will take the no preference option. Then it will automatically select the zone in which we can create the instance. Okay. So you can see over here it is showing that we have successfully created the instance. Now let's see. I have this Win10 running already, but we have created this window 10. Let's remove this one so you won't have any confusion. Okay. I'm terminating this one, and this window 10 we have just created this one. Let's see what is the status. Okay. So once you select the instance, once you select the instance, you will see all the details related with the instance. So check it out, instance summary, instance ID. So this is the ID for your instance. This is the public IPv4 address. So whenever you will be accessing remotely your instance, you will be using this public IPv address, and this is the private IPv4 address for your instance state. This is this particular window 10 instance is in the running state. Over here you can see the public IPv DNS address, host name, private IP DNS address, and other important informations. Okay, with time we will see each and everything from okay. In the security section, when we go into the security section, we will see security group. So this is the name of our group, launch wizard 4, and the random sequence. This is the security group name. So this particular instance is the part of this Visit 4 security group. So all the rules which are applicable in this Wizard 4 group are applicable on to my window 10 instance, which I have just created. Okay, how to check the security group from here? We will first select the instance and then we will see the details after that. Then we will select the other, we can select the networking option to check out IPv address, and simply we can just click on the instance ID and we can see each and everything. So there are the many ways to access the information. Check numbers of CPU. It is showing that we only have one CPU running right now. The key we have designed, the key we have right now with us is the security key. So let me show you what is the purpose of this key that we have generated. Okay, so we will select this instance again, and then we will go to the actions, which is on the very right on top section. So after that, we will select the connect option, session manager, and EC2 serial console. We will check them out in another session, but right now we have only allowed the RDP traffic. So we will connect with our instance with the RDP. So let's download the RDP file, and after downloading the RDP file, we have to put the password. So let's get the password also. Over here you can see the get password option. The instance ID is here, key pair associated with this instance. So we have generated this security key. Now we have to get the password. So first let's upload the private key we have generated. This one is for this particular window instance. So I have selected the right key. It will decrypt the password, and now I got the password. So this password is important. Let me note it down somewhere else so I will not lose it. Now I have this password. Let's check. Okay, we have our password and we have our RDP also. So now I am in the administrator level. So name is already. Now we are accessing our Windows 10 instance. It is showing up, it is running up, doing some process. Okay, it's up now. Guys, are you able to see that on the screen? Is it visible? We have successfully created our first EC2 instance. Okay, in case if you forgot your password, you you will not you have to take care this file, this key file, because you have selected this. If you lose this file, then you will not get the password again. If you have this file, you can decrypt the password anytime you want, but if you lose the key generating file, then you lose the information. Okay.
Can we have the same file for all of the instances we create?
Yes, we can have the same file, but you have to select the file. If you remember properly, when we were creating that instance, we have created the file sec by myself. So when you will create another instance, you will see all the previous key file you have generated. You can select any of them. So I will have this security file option. I will select this one, and let me show you. Okay.
And what do we do in the real time industry? Are there any standards to keep one file or different files?
What you have asked, I didn't got your question.
Yeah, in the on the job, right? In the real time industry, what do we
Mhm.
follow? Like we follow keeping one file for all of the instances, or we usually keep a different file for each instance.
Okay. Okay. So it depend on your company needs. the when you will be configuring, if you want the data. Okay, so we have the system of creating volume in it. We can create a separate volume for our different kind of data. If we have some particular data which we don't feel comfortable enough to share, we can create a different volume. And if we have a particular data which we want to share with the public, we can create a different volume for that. So in any, first of all, what we have to make sure that we remember the availability zone in which we have created the instance, and we can change the storage accordingly, and we can make the changes according to the work. Is that what were you asking? I hope I gave you the right answer.
Yeah, I was actually asking regarding these PEM files. Like, if we on the job, if we are creating multiple instances,
Mm-hmm.
right, for
Mm-hmm.
our own purpose, because I guess we will be having the administrator access. So can we have one file uh, and reuse it for multiple instances?
Yes, yes, definitely. This is what the like benefit comes with the cloud. You can, if you have this one file you want to share with everyone, with every instance, that whatever computer we are talking about, you can deploy that file into a particular volume, and that volume we can attach it to any instance. Doesn't matter which region that instance belong to, which availability zone that instance belong to. You can attach that particular volume in any instance. So you can edit now. Matl-
I got it. Thank you.
okay. Okay, guys, any other question? Any uh, any other doubt? Okay, so there are other ways also we can access our instance machine. Let's check one another way. So this is one application we are using right now, RDC. Okay, so let me slide it down. Coming back to the instances, we have this one particular instance up and running. Which one? Windows 10. Okay, then we have its public IPv4 address. We will copy this public IPv4 address, and then we will try to connect with this. It is asking for credentials. So now password, I have saved it. I will provide the password again. So every time you will log in into the administrator level, you have to give this key password which you have generated while creating the instance. Okay, so never lose it. Otherwise, you will lose the access to instance. So my previous connection is disconnected because I have made this new connection, and you can see I am able to access it. Any doubt, anyone? All clear? Good. So now let me show you. One student just asked the question, if we have different type of data and if we want that one particular segment of our data gets shared with many instances and different other instances located in different geographical areas, can we do that? We can definitely do that. And what is the easiest way to do that? Let me show you. So in our left hand side corner where we have lots of services present, we have this one service present volume. Okay. For now, just understand volume is a elastic block store. So whenever we want to store the data, when we have a huge chunks of data we want to store, uh, depending on the size of data, we can select the volume size. It similarly means disk. We have drive E, drive C present in our computer. So similarly, there are elastic block volumes we can create for our virtual instance, and we can connect this volume to our instance. So you can see the one instance we have already default volume for it 30 GB, which we have selected. And if I want to add more volume in it, what they if I want to add more volume in this particular volume block, what will I do? I will select it, then I will perform action. And what actions I can perform in this particular section volume, elastic block volume? I can modify the volume, I can create the snapshot. We will see these options. Okay, so let's select the modify option. I want to modify. So in free tier, only 30 GB is available to you as free. But if you exceed from 30, 31, 32, they will start charging to you. Okay. So only 30 is available. And when you are doing tier, when we are downloading tier 2 instance, the minimum GB we have to select for our instance is 30 GB. So if you want to see how to modify it, you cannot go below 30. You can see over here the size of maximum volume can be increased, not be decreased. So for general purpose SSD, we only have 29. Okay, first let me, guys, tell me, do you know what is general purpose SSD is? GP2? Is this topic been discussed?
No.
No. Okay. Okay, then we will see it on tomorrow. Let's continue with the topics we have not covered in the theory. Before that, guys, any problem now? I assume that all of you can create your own window instance on your Amazon web console. Am I right? Can all of you do that?
Yes.
Okay. We have 10 participants. Yes, we have other participants also who are not answering in the chat. Please, guys, let me know if you have any doubt. I will clear it. I will show you every step one by one again. But okay. Okay, so there are no doubt. So we can continue. Let's continue, guys. So we have just seen this topic. We have just configured this machine. This is the Elastic Compute Cloud. Elastic Compute Cloud, EC2, because it has C2, that's why it is now called C2. So it just way of saying it. It just mean a virtual computer. So all the physical stuff is not in our eyesight, in our eye range. We can only able to access the software environment of any workstation. How it is possible? Because of the cloud. So let's see. What is EC2? Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud is a web service that provide reasonable compute capacity on the cloud. Amazon EC2 reduce the time required to obtain and boot new server instance to minutes, allowing you to quickly scale capacity both up and down as you think requirement change. So it is saying that EC2 is a virtual compute power which we can hire according to our requirement from Amazon Web Services. We can we can attain them, and if we have any sudden changes in our requirement, we can make changes in the EC2 instance also. So let's, for example, uh, if we want to set up a new office and we want to create a 10 workstation where our new employees can come and work, so rather than buying 10 workstation, what I can do, I can just go and log in into my Amazon console and configure 10 EC2 instances. I can deploy storage according to the need, I can deploy SSD according to need, I can deploy processor, I can deploy OSs according to need. So it's all on my fingertips, so it's very easy to fulfill my requirement. If they face any changes, if there is any changes, I can change in my compute also. Let's see what are the different option comes with the EC2. So there are mainly four option: reserve, spot, and dedicated. On demand, as the name is suggesting, you pay what you have obtained and what you have utilized. So it has a fixed pay rate by hourly, and now they are also giving bill on now they are also generating bill on second basis. So if you have used some services for only for few seconds, they will generate the bill. The price is very low, but the bill is on demand. So whatever services you are using, let it be EC2, let it be other services, let it be EVA, let it be any other storage service, let it be Kubernetes, you have it on fixed rate but on a hourly basis or on a fixed time basis. Reserved, okay, I'm sorry, I got some mix up. On demand, you are paying a fixed rate with no commitment. So it means that whatever services you are using, you are only paying for that. So the bill and the pay depends on your demand. Then we are coming, now let's move towards the second option, which is the reserved. Reserved EC2 instance, when we have a particular need for compute. Let's say I have a web server which I want to maintain and run over the year, like anytime in the year people can come to my website and visit it. So for 1 year I will reserve the EC2 instance, and I will reserve the EC2 instance for 1 year. Then it means for 1 year I am able to use all the EC2 instance resources and the compute without any payment, making monthly payment, because the payment can be do upfront, partially can be we can, okay, the payment can be made upfront, we can made partial payment, and we can pay after using these services. So in the reserve EC2, we reserve the EC2 for a particular fixed time. In on demand, we utilize EC2 according to our demand. We are not making any prior reserve, but in reserved EC2, we are reserving some EC2s for our personal use, for ourselves. We are reserving them that for a particular time period. Spot. Spot EC2 enables you to bid for your instance or instance capacity. So in Spot EC2, there are other services also where you can bid. So in bidding, what will happen? Amazon has its fair price, which is mentioned. Let's say for you, for three instance, they are asking for $15, and if you are comfortable in paying $15 for three instances for a year, you can pay $15 to them, and if you have a better price, you can bid it. You can bid that price to them, and if no, your price is the highest, you will get the spot. I hope it's all making sense to you guys. Okay. So on demand EC2, we pay as we use. In reserve EC2, we reserve the instances for our personal use, and we pay in annual basis for the time we have reserved. In Spot, we bid the price, and if the price get agreed on, we will get the services. Now coming on to the last option, which is the dedicated. So there is physical EC2 server, particular physical EC2 server dedicated for your for your use. There are physical EC2 services server dedicated for your use. Dedicated host can help you reduce costs by allowing you to use your existing server bound software license. Physical environment is also set up. A dedicated physical environment is set up by the service provider for us. So on this particular physical environment, only we are accessing our resources. So it gave us low latency, it gave us high privacy. So according to our need, each and everyone have its benefit, each and everyone has its disadvantages. Let's see them in detail. After seeing the advantages and disadvantages, you can decide according to your need which deployment is looking best for your organization. Okay, in the instances when we are using the Windows OS, when we are using the Linux OS, the license part is done by the Amazon itself. They are providing us license OS, but the particular services and some particular OSs which doesn't concern Amazon. If we want these services and we want to deploy this particular service in our environment, then we have to buy the license. Amazon might not be providing it. Amazon do have some license, but not all of them. So when we will be studying the services, we will look which Amazon is providing license on which services, and on which Amazon is not providing the license. We will look in detail. Okay. Okay. Now let's see what is on demand. User that want the low cost and flexibility of Amazon EC2 without any upfront payment and long-term commitment. We are the instance we have just created in the lab, it was the on-demand instance. So if we have a requirement, if we have a flexible requirement and we don't want to give any upfront payment and we don't have any long-term commitment, then we can go with the on-demand EC2 instance type, because we only pay for those instances which we have used. Okay. Applications with short term, spiky, and unpredictable workload that cannot be interrupted. So it is an example. Let's say we are a company and we are creating an app. So this one is the new app. This app we are creating is a new app, and now we want to launch this app in the public. So we don't know how will public react to our app. So before doing any setup for server, before doing any setup for database, what we can do, we can use the web servers, we can deploy our app and see if it's working properly, if it's gonna perform well. So there are other many things you can do. If we have any unpredictable workload that can be interrupted, the if we have any unpredictable workload that cannot be interrupted, that our workload can be very low at some time, but it can increase at some point of time also. So it's very unpredictable. So we can choose on demand, because if our workload gets high, if we are facing high workload, then we can increase our instances, we can increase our demand. It is that easy as that. Okay, application being developed or tested on Amazon EC2 for the first time. This is the example I was giving to you. Application, if we are a application developer and we want to test our application before launching it to the public, what we can do, we can deploy it in the Amazon environment and test it out. Our new billing cycle start whenever instance change to running state. So whenever instance, if it's in stop stage, then it will not be a part of the billing cycle. But only if it's in the running state, a new billing cycle will generate. A billing cycle will start, and this billing cycle will keep adding to the previous billing cycle, and in the end of the month you will get your bill for all the services you have used till now. Reserved application with steady state or predictable use. If your company is dealing with some application which runs in steady state and have predictable uses, predictable uses means we know that our uh, website is visited by 10 people in a day, or maybe 100 people in a day. Then we know it is a predictable data we have, that from past 3 years only 100 people are visiting our website in a day. So maybe in coming fourth year the data will not change that much. This is what predictability of uses means. If we have some application with some steady state or predictable uses, we can use the reserve instance. Why? Because we already know what is the limit, what is the compute limit, what is the processing limit, and what is the transfer limit, like how many inbound and outbound traffic might be going from our instance and from our from our workstation, from our server. So in that state, when we already know how much resources we use, if we already know how much resources we required, we can reserve those particular resources for a particular time, because we already know the state of traffic. You can resell on AWS if you choose not to use. Okay, so there's also option to resell your AWS services if you are not using them to their fullest. If you are not utilizing all the storage, you can sell out the storage, you can rent it out. So this option is also available. User Users able to make upfront payment to reduce their total computing cost even further. So if you are reserving, let's say we are reserving 2 or 3 services for 1 year, and this will totally for total period of 1 year, the whole service set will cost us $15,000. But if we pay a upfront payment, if we pay it in advance, we can get furthermore discounts. Standard is being 75% off, up to 75% off. Okay, reserve instances. This one is for the standard reserve instance. So in standard reserve instance, if we are not utilizing some of our services, we can resell them. Okay, and in our standard reserve instances, just give me a moment, guys. Okay, in our standard reserved instance, if we are reserving a standard instance for a period of 1 year and the cost is $15,000, if we pay full upfront amount in full upfront payment, then we will can get 75% off, up to 75% off. So there is a benefit of discount if we are doing the upfront payment. If we are paying in advance, then we can get the discount benefit also. Convertible RIs. Convertible RIs simply means then they are convertible. So capability to change the attribute of RI as long as the exchange results in the creation of reserves instance of equal or greater value. Scheduled AI. Okay. So in convertible AI, there's some limit which is reserved and others we can convert. In schedule reserved instance, we have scheduled a window time, we have scheduled a duration, and in this scheduled duration, the instance is available to us. And let's see why we have these two. Schedule RI is available to launch within the time window you reserve. This option allows you to match your capacity reservation to a predictable recurring schedule that only require a fraction of a day, a week, or a month. For example, in our business, uh, we can say that in daytime we get maximum order, but in the night shift we don't get that many of order. Then what we'll do? We will reserve some instances. We will schedule and reserve some schedule reserved instances for daytime, and after the daytime the instance will be released. Guys, any doubt in reserved instance? We have covered on demand, we have covered reserved. Any doubt in both of them? AWS will not automatically create EC2 instance for us. We will come, but okay. Right now we are studying about different AWS services. when you will go and join any company, the company has its own requirement. You will see what are the requirement of our business, and according to the need of business, you will create the account or you will purchase the services from Amazon. So what do you require right now? You require the knowledge what are the different services. If you are joining a company as a cloud engineer, then you should have a knowledge about all the different services, all the different package, all the different APIs which are available on the cloud. And then you will see what is the requirement of your business. If your business require, for example, uh, you get hired as a cloud engineer, and then a new sales department comes in. We have our sales member. We have our new sales member. So in that particular moment, rather than suggesting that we should buy 10, 20 new computers, a cloud engineer will suggest that we can go and buy EC2 instance on cloud. Okay, that's why we do this cloud certification. That's how we decide each and every decision. We know what are the services, we know what we can do with these services. We will select each and every services according to our business need. Okay. Okay. Spot instance, it, in this we bid for our favorable price, and if both parties agree, we get the service. Okay. Application that has flexible start and end time. So any application that doesn't require any particular fixed time, that from 9 to 5 it should be up, or in from 9 to 6 it should be up. If it has a flexible starting and end time, we can use spot instance. Unused capacity, as AWS is given in market for bid. Okay. So spot instance is some way very good and in some way it's very bad. Uh, for example, if we have bidded for $15 per hour for some service, and after few minutes, for example, let's say there's a particular service and we are bidding for it. Bob is bidding for it, and Alex is also bidding for it. Alex now have bid $15 for that particular service, and right now Alex has the maximum bid, so Alex get the service. Now again another bidder comes. Tom comes in the picture and he bid $20 per hour. Then Amazon will give the service to Tom, not to the Alex, because Tom price is higher. So if we bid to some service and we acquire that service and nobody is bidding against us, then it means we have a good price. But in some cases, it do affect us adversely. So always remember what is the requirement of your organization, and how will you acknowledge, how will you find out the requirement. If any application have flexible start and end time, then it means we can use spot instance. Unused capacity at AWS is given in. So it is also suggested that if you have some services which you have bought from AWS but you are not using it right now, then you can also give it in the bidding section and someone can bid for your services and you can resell them. Look at the price history and decide bid price. You will, it's like stock, you will look at the price history then bid accordingly. Instances are terminated with 2-minute notice when market price goes above bid price. If terminated by AWS, last partial fee is free. If AWS is terminating your service, then last hour is on AWS. You will not get charged. Optionally, use spot block option with bid to block the instance, maximum 6 hours. Okay, this is all understandable. First, why spot instance? Like why bidding? Can anyone give me an answer? Why we are bidding in AWS? Like they are just compute services. Why we are bidding in them? Any idea? Please, guys, answer. No, basically, why spot instances? There are some services which are very specific to nature, like very specific to the industry. Let's say if like there are some particular services which are available on Amazon, which are only for few, like only few companies uses them. There are no such big market for these services, but still there are few companies. That's why they have created these services, and these few companies can compete within them and get the spot for themselves. So there are some few services which are very rare within the Amazon also. Okay, uninstall instance, it's just they have their server set up somewhere physically and we are just accessing it remotely. In the spot instance, we bid for particular instances. Some virtual machine, we are bidding for them. Why we are bidding for them? Because these virtual machines are not in day-to-day uses. They are not used by everyone. Only some particular kind of companies use these virtual machines, these EC2 instances. So the to meet the demand and supply curve, that's why Amazon come with this bidding format. Getting it, guys? Okay. Okay, so I think for now we have done enough. And as you all can hear, I'm getting a bad throat. So let's we have covered EC2 instance, different types, and we cover window EC2 instance in the lab. So practice. Thank you, Manoj. Please, you too also take care and practice the instance and practice the lab to practice configure the instance by yourself, attach, uh, try to attach volume, and we will continue tomorrow. Any of you have any doubt? Okay. Thank you, everyone.